I happened to catch a little bit of Doc Rock's live stream today, and he was talking a little bit about, well, a little bit about everything, but towards the end, we started talking about demographics, psychographics, niches, and your own customer persona. So I wanted to dive into this a little bit more. I was going to save it for an episode of Triple T Thursday, but I figured I got some time. So let's go ahead and do this right now because I got some time. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, then I hope you kind of want to hang out and let's chat about it for a little bit. So I am also trying to do this going live on a few different places. So if you happen to be over on like Instagram or something and you want to catch us over on YouTube, come join us because I am going to be writing down some things on screen. So you might miss it if you're on Instagram. So I'm just going to put that out there. So James Bond, hello. James Pruitt, hello. I'm really excited to chat with you about this. So let's break into it. Let me share my screen with you so that I can write some stuff down with you. All right. So one of the things you watch on LinkedIn and Instagram, thank you so much, Stream Tornado. I really appreciate that. We are going to be talking a little bit, okay, and a lot of people will always say, I'm in this particular niche, I'm in this niche. And I'm like, no, you're not, because you don't really know enough about that niche, demographic, psychographic to really understand what you're really saying. So I wanted to break this down a little bit faster and not faster, but more in-depth and thoroughly. So hello, Annie. So first thing that we're going to talk a little bit about is some previous experience that I had working at some companies, because I think this will help you kind of really illustrate the point that I'm talking about. Okay, so I happened to work at a retail store, and many, many moons ago, this is how long ago, this was what, 2005, maybe 2000, something like that, like early 2000s. And we had what we called customer segments. I don't know if I could get in trouble for any of this, but I'm sharing it all with you. Okay. I'm sharing it with you. Hello, Ellie, Danny. Great to see you. Oh, it's nice to see you. I think we met in Clubhouse. It's great to see you. So, thank you, Andrew, from coming over from Clubhouse. Yeah. Coming over from Instagram. So if you want to come over, join us on YouTube because I am going to be writing on screen. So you may want to catch that. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. So one of the things that we had, oh boy, we're going to talk about this. Okay. We had segments. Okay. So a lot of the different stores, of which there were, let's say 1,800 of these stores across the nation. And, each one of them happened to have these particular segments. Now there were people in each of these types of groups that would shop at all of these stores, but we had an overwhelming majority of certain types of people that would come to stores. Hopefully this is making sense. And is this getting into customer profiling and making a lot of assumptions and yada, yada? Yes. Did they probably get called out for this? Yes. Do all companies kind of in advertising do this? Yes. So we have a few examples of this, right? So we had, I'm just going to write another note over here on this side. So when we had Dove, right, they were talking about skincare, and a lot of the time they were talking about female skincare. So it was like females and it was skincare, right? And then we had on the opposite side of that, we had Old Spice, right? And that was talking about males. And then all of a sudden, a year or two into it later, it was going to be something like females have skin too. And it became this whole thing, like a whole running point, right? So we had some of these ideas of the people that were going to be into this type of thing, right? You've been on Clubhouse too. I've never seen. Yeah, I don't go on Clubhouse very often, honestly. I don't really go there. So hello to Lamai Style. Hello. And hello, Real You Do It. Hello. How are you, Rhaegar? I'm over on YouTube. So if you want to come join us, we're the usual hiding spots. Please do so. Okay. So y'all know sometimes there's some of these advertisements and you see them and they are going to be for certain people. Okay. I think we've established this. Now I'm going to talk to you about the segments that we had. And the only reason I'm bringing this up right now is so that we can kind of get someplace so that we can paint the picture for y'all when it comes to YouTube channels. And one of the biggest mistakes that I think people really make is not being able to understand who their ideal client, ideal customer, ideal viewer avatar is. So that could be ICA, that could be, the customer persona of the person watching you, right? So this is all of that information, and this is the easiest way to kind of like illustrate this for you. So in these segments, oh my gosh, I don't even remember them all. Okay, but I'm going to tell you about some of them. Okay, so we had this guy named Buzz. These mean nothing to you now, but hopefully. Barry. We had Maria. I just said a name Maria. And we had a Jill. And okay, 4 is enough to demonstrate this point, okay? So we had these customer segments. Buzz was, how can I explain this? It's almost like it was a military guy. And if you can think of this in your head, right? Buzz was a person who would, primarily male, spend all their money on tech and eat top ramen. He would be willing to do this. You guys know this person, right? You would see this person who would, okay, hello, thanks for switching over. So this was the person, it was very important to him to have the latest and greatest. It was very important to him to have, the loudest, the biggest bass, all of that stuff, the flashiest and brightest, all of that stuff. It was very important to him. And he was willing to sacrifice things such as food and comforts to be able to have these things, right? He's the person who would go and probably max out a credit card because it was important for him to get that thing today. Does that make sense? Raise your hand and give me a yes, that makes sense. You know this person, okay? Next we had the Barry. Barry was about the latest and greatest, but different. He had disposable income. He had a lot of money. He was very wealthy. And a lot of the time he wasn't into comparisons. If you gave him a good, better, best, he wanted the best one. He wanted the name brand. He wanted the shiny thing. He wanted, even though a car will get you there, he wanted the BMW instead of the Ford Focus. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So Barry cares about the brand name. Whereas Buzz might say, if I can get a 55-inch TV for the same cost as a 40-inch TV, I don't care as much about the brand name. But a Barry would say, I want the Pioneer TV because it says Pioneer, or that's not even. I want the Sony TV because it's the most important one right now. And so that was our Barry. He had a lot of disposable income. He cared mostly about the brand new name, and so that was Barry. Then we had Maria. I'm trying to remember. Maria. One of them is a soccer mom and one of them is the suburban wife. And okay, I could get this wrong. I think this was many years ago, people. Okay, this was many, many years ago. So Maria, I could be getting this wrong. Maria was a soccer mom, and she didn't care necessarily about the name brand. She wanted something that was going to be reliable, something that was going to be beneficial to her and her family. And she wasn't necessarily going to be the one to go out and buy the most expensive thing. She wanted something and she wanted it to last and she wanted it to be for the good of the family. So very family oriented, very all of these things. I'm sharing all this with you because we're getting down into the nitty gritty stuff. So Omega Gaming, am I doing iPhone iMovies tutorials? No, I'm not doing any more iMovie stuff. I am going to be creating a community on a Uscreen membership, but that will house all of my iMovie tutorials. So right now they're all private on my channel, so they're all gone. So this is, So, and I think Jill was married to Barry. Maria is maybe, there was another guy in there. Okay. So hopefully this is all making sense to you, right? We had designed some of our stores dependent on the type of demographic that the store might have. So what do I mean by that? It means that if we were a segmented store that had a lot of Marias in the area, or a Maria, something like that, we would, the way that this would come down from corporate, we would rearrange the stores so that the end caps were interactive and be kid friendly. It would be things that would make your kids feel comfortable to want to stay in store longer so that you could shop uninterrupted. Hopefully that makes sense. If we were a berry store, we would do things like we would move the, some of the stores had high-end, let's say, home theater equipment in it, and you would then move all of your high-end home theater stuff, or stuff that had the most margins, in the right-hand circle of the racetrack, is what we would call it, because most people tend to go into a retail store and then walk right. So we would place the high-end stuff that had more margins and that was more enticing to a berry, such as Magnolia Home Theater or whatever else it was, a high-end electronics, in that section of the store, so that once you come in and go right, you would be enticed and then want to shop in that area. Okay, so all of this stuff to say, I mean, this company spent millions upon millions of dollars not only to understand the psychographics, the demographics of the people shopping in their area, and then how to change the store layout to help monopolize and really cater to that. Okay, so hopefully this is, yeah, we're going to erase all this. Now, this is going on early 2000s. So if you think that brands haven't been doing this, or stores or whatever haven't been doing this for years and years and years, we do it now. Grocery stores do the same thing. They put certain, that's why they put a certain order in the grocery store, something like that. Because of the way that people shop, because of the traffic patterns, because of all of that, it's very, very, very intentional. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys and gals about your ideal viewer. Again, this could be AKA the ideal client. Okay. All of this stuff. Now, hopefully you guys are still seeing that, right? Yeah, okay. I would love to ask anyone who happens to be in the audience, who do you think your ideal viewer and ideal client are? Or even better from that, you know, what is your niche that you have? Now, here is one thing that I want to talk about. Oh, Lordy, I did not bring out my demo graphics. Oh, no. You guys are going to see firsthand how like I'm thinking about it out loud. And then we had the PSY Psycho, yeah, graphics. Oh, it looks like I didn't give a letter, but I did. It's just, let's come back. ICS. Oh, that's ugly, but hopefully y'all know what I mean. Okay. So we've got demographics and we've got psychographics. So what does this mean? So if we were to take a look at this, right, a really good example of this would be, I have this somewhere. We had Ozzy Osbourne versus, I think it was like King Charles was the, or whatever, it's Prince Charles. Y'all know what I mean. We'll just say with Charles. Okay, so the way that this works out is that both of these guys are men. So we've got man on both. We've got British on both. We've got divorced on both. Okay, and we've got, I think they're both in their 60s. Okay, hopefully this is about right. 60s. So if we were taking a look at this, all of a sudden we've got man, British, divorced, 60s, right? And if you were someone who was saying, oh, well, the demographics of my viewer right now is divorced, men, 60s, British, right? If you were to take a look at this, these two people, not the same. What they want, what they're doing. Oh, that looks like a little pound sign, right? Or a little tic-tac-toe. That it was supposed to be a not equal sign. Again, if you are hanging out with us on Instagram, you're missing out on all of my horrid handwriting, but come join us on YouTube and you can catch that. So here we go, right? We've got the demographics of both male, British, divorced, in their 60s. You could also argue white, okay? Are these two people, though, the same in what they are doing day to day, in what they want out of life, in what they like, the pressures of society, all that stuff, right? So this is where the psychographics, or then I know it does look like a hashtag, right? This is where the psychographics come into mind, right? So Ozzy Osbourne, we've got performer, we've got rock star, we've got a different persona than, you know, the elitist or patriarchal society of the British monarchy, right? So we've got prim and proper, maybe more so than I just literally bit a bat's head off, right? Very, very different things here. So this is where we get into a lot of trouble, is because when you, as a YouTube person, viewer, creator, you start thinking about most of the time your demographics and not your psychographics of your audience. Can I get an amen on this if this is making sense to you so far, right? Hopefully we've illustrated, we're bringing this around, and you know where we're going with this, right? So I would love to know, for you, who do you think is watching your content versus who do you want to be watching your content? Okay, because all views are not created equal when it comes to social media, when it comes to Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, right? So a lot of people are thinking about, how do I get the most eyeballs? And instead they're not understanding how to get the correct eyeballs. So if you happen to be, I happen to have a lot of real estate people that follow me. I don't know why, maybe it's a Chelsea thing. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. And take me a second to erase all this. Give me a second. I should have played some music for you. Because you didn't come here for my, maybe you did, for my doo-wops. All right, so let's think about this real quick. Real estate. For all my real estate folks out there, right? Side note, when I was a real estate agent way back in the day, which some of you don't know that I was, maybe, I used to wish and hope and pray sometimes, I know this is bad, for the divorced couple, because this was the trifecta. Not only do you get to sell their home, but then you get to help them buy two separate homes, right? And here's the thing is, you could probably stand to argue that one, the home that they're selling is a completely different type of audience who wants to buy that home, right, than the homes that they're buying when they're separate. Okay, so even if we were going to break this down even farther, let's just take this real estate one for example. All right, so you've got this divorcing couple. Very different also than the first-time home buyer, very different than the new construction buyer, very different than the just need to get out of military housing, don't plan to be here more than 3 years, so I need a balloon type of thing that, you know, whatever, that doesn't materialize. Very different than the I'm an empty nester and I need to downsize. Very different than the I'm growing a family, I need more space, right? So all of these different things are all the same. If you think about it, the end result, which is I need to buy a home, I need a real estate agent to buy a home, right? But all of those different personality segments, however you want to chop that up, all have different wants, desires, and needs when it comes to why they're in that particular situation. So you could have this divorcing couple, whether it's they had kids or not, and then all of a sudden it's you know, I don't want to stereotype, so please no one take offense to this, okay? We're just every exception, not a rule, but you know what I'm saying, okay? That wasn't right. Every rule has an exception. That's where I'm going with that. So sometimes when you've got this divorcing couple, you have, I just won't assign a gender to it. Here we go. You might have a person who wants the high rise. They want the bright and flashy. They want the doorman and all of the extras, right? They want the fitness center and the swimming pool and the gym and the theater, and they want the doggy play area. They want all of these things. And then you've got the other person who doesn't want to be in the city, that wants to be in the suburbs, that wants a yard, that wants room, that wants to be able to walk around at night, right? And the other one cares more about convenience, and they want to be able to walk downstairs into a coffee shop. Okay? That wasn't assigning gender to any of those. It could be either of the two. Okay. So again, being able to understand the psyche of that is still then different from who's going to be the ideal person who wants to buy their home. You know, maybe it was this brand new family getting together, they're newlyweds, or they're starting out their life together, or whatever else it is, or they're downsizing. You understand where we're going with this. Sad song, Saturdays instead of Sundays. What? Wait, what? No. It's always still Sad Song Sundays. That's just over on Twitch. So Sad Song Sundays still on Twitch, still a thing. All right, still a thing. Hey, if there's 8 people here and there's only 4 thumbs up on this video and one of them is me, y'all aren't doing your job. So help me out with a little button click. Okay, help me out with this. Now, well, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. So here we go. All right. So as we start to look at this, this is something that is happening to a lot of you, right? So when it comes to, let's say, YouTube, you want all the views. But are all the views helping you? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they're not helping you. Wow, my little art skills are non-existent, y'all. So who do you want? Let's say people are here. Danny Kim, who do you want watching you, or you do it? Or James Fruit, who do you want watching you on YouTube? I really am the worst artist ever. I'm embarrassed. I'm going to erase that. Okay. So like Annie, right? You specialize in new home construction in Florida, right? So new home construction is already a segmented part or a market segment of real estate, but what kind of homes and what kind of people is it that you want buying those things? And then how do you make videos that appeal to that person? So now we start thinking again, when we talk about this in the psychographics. Oh, this is my chance to redeem myself, y'all. Graphics, if I don't do it in cursive. Did I do it right? Did I do it right? Okay. So these are going to be the questions more like, where do they shop? What is important to them? Right? What other questions would we have? Right? So once you start thinking about this, so we say stuff like, what keeps them up at night? What do they worry about? So these are the types of things, right? Oh, you switched over to YouTube? Yeah. Right? When you can answer these types of questions about your viewer, it becomes probably a lot easier for you to be able to make videos that appeal to them. How many of you have watched a video or seen an advertisement on Facebook or wherever else, and it seems like, not just were they listening because, you know, they're always listening. All of a sudden you talked about couches one day and then the next thing you know, you got Article 29 all over your Facebook and you're like, how did they know? Right? So that notwithstanding, when you think about that, right, there is, let's say you are thinking, okay, we've talked about this before. You are an NFL Combine fitness specialist. Can you still see that? Okay. So if we were an NFL Combine fitness specialist, right? Very different than the person who is training to become a prima ballerina. Very different than the person who's trying to do the Ironman. Very different, right? So NFL Combine fitness specialist. So what do we know about the person? Once we start with the demographics, right? If you're in the NFL Combine, a lot of the time, the majority of the time, these are college kids that are declaring their eligibility for the NFL draft or something like that, right? So we're not talking always about 45-year-old guys that used to work at the supermarket and now they're looking to finally get in, you know, off the street and into the NFL Combine. That's usually not the type of person, right? So once we start thinking about the demographic of, okay, they're probably somewhere between the ages of like 20 and 24, 23, whatever, when they happen to enter college. Not only that, maybe you get them a year early and you really start to think like, who are the top superstars when it comes to high school / got scholarships and are now into NFL, right? Because it's a very small age gap and window of time. And then you're saying, okay, what kind of things are they going to be doing at the NFL Combine? Whether it's the jump, whether it's the 40-yard dash, whether it's the, you know, the whatever drills, those types of things, right? once you start thinking about that, when it becomes to agility and, you know, height adjustment, jumping and speed sprints and all that stuff, you are then able to then make some sort of conclusions about either the types of fitness regimes or the exercises or the things that are most important to those particular people who would be coming to you. And when you become then a specialist in this type of thing, then you know that there's always this person that you go to when you're, you know, a high school / college person who's preparing to go into the NFL, right? So this also brings us back to still one of the funniest movies out there. I'm just going to put that out there. But who remembers the Sandra Bullock one, Miss Congeniality? So if you think that there isn't such a thing as like specializing, right? Not only with psychographics, demographics, and all that stuff. But what did they do? They took an FBI agent, and the whole thing is, you know, the beast becomes a beauty, and it was all in her all along, but in her own special way. And Michael Caine plays this character who does what? He's a pageant coach. He's a pageant coach. So all he does is help young women, I don't know how old they are, okay, it could be whatever, try to become like Miss America. So that became an entire thing about, you know who it is, and then he does things like he helps them with their talent, right? He helps them, or lack of talent. He helps them be able to have poise, answer questions under fire. You know, he has things like, you need to know how to walk gracefully. You need to know how to answer questions under fire gracefully. You need to know how to, you know, be a lady and whatever else it is. These are all things that he was able as a specialist, and let's say in the movie, right, it's like there's only one person that you can call. You have to go to this person. You have to go find this person who trains pageant queens. And it's the same thing. If you're the NFL Combine fitness person, you are the go-to person that someone has to come to be able to achieve what they want. So I say that, but it is a real thing, right? And so when you think about out loud, there's I am preparing for a fitness martial arts type role. There was always that one trainer in Hollywood that everyone would want. I think it was like Gunner Fitness or something like that. His name was Tim Gunner or something like that. Whatever. There was always that person that everyone wanted to go and train with because that was what they had built their specialty on, right? So being known for something was still sometimes being better than, well, one, being known for nothing. But how many people then will also say, like, I'm in fitness. Okay, I'm in fitness training for beauty pageant people who are not trying to bulk up, or ballerinas who are trying to stay thin and flexible and whatever. Still vastly different than Ironman triathlete / NFL Combine type of candidate, right? So once you start to identify, this is all coming down to the things about your niche. When everyone is like, I'm in fitness, or I'm in marketing, or I'm in whatever else it is, that's not yet a niche. You haven't yet been able to define who you're helping and what is your value proposition with working with you. Okay. So if you are, I'm in fitness, I help collegiate athletes get ready for NFL Combine, that is much more specialized, and you have clearly identified your ideal client or ideal viewer, right? And then once you start to think about what are the things that they're going through right now, what are the videos that they need to see? What are the questions that they have in their mind that I can help them with so that it solidifies in their mind that I am the only person that they should be listening to and then hire, right? So if you're an NFL Combine fitness specialist, you're not talking to people probably about intermittent fasting and the ability to carb load before a triathlon, right? You're talking to them about eating proteins and whatever else your diet and restriction things are so that they can have explosive growth when it comes to the 40-yard dash, so that their time is whatever and they don't get made fun of as a quarterback versus a running back. You know what I'm saying? So this is really, really an important distinction to have. So I would challenge a lot of people who are on YouTube. A lot of them are like, I just want the views. I just want people to watch me. I am making videos for everyone. And when you start making videos for everyone, no one resonates with you and it's not special to anyone. I don't know how else to put that out there. Mike Alton, great to see you. How are you? We are having a little lesson in Shelly School with Professor Shelly about demographics, psychographics, all of that stuff. If you want to come join us on the YouTubes, you're more than welcome to, because we're writing things out on an iPad and you're not seeing them on Instagram. So does this help? What questions do we have about this? Okay, what questions do we have about, let's work out some of this with y'all. Who is your ideal client? Who's your ideal customer, viewer? What is your niche? Let's talk about this. Everyone equals no one. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. So let's do an example. Who's watching, guys and gals? Let's talk about this. Right? So we have to answer those questions. Where do they shop? What questions do they have? What haunts them? What keeps them up at night? What motivates them? What doesn't motivate them? This is all important stuff to know. So we're going to talk a little bit about oh no, I lost some of my P on my psychographics. There we go. Then we're going to talk about those demographics. I should really stop making little tic-tac-toe things, right? Okay. So let's talk about this. What? We have a super chat. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me get a song just for you. And we're going to have to do that. One second. Thank you so much. Okay, let me get to my main camera. Let me pick a song. Which one? Constant Movement, Positronic, Tell It Straight. Have we done Tell It Straight in a while? I don't know. We're going to do Indie Club or Dunk Competition. Here we go. No, we're going to do Indie Club. Let me get my dancing overlay. Here it is. Let's do this. Oh, if you're on Instagram, you're not actually hearing the music, are you? Enjoy this boogie to no music at all. If you're watching on Instagram, you're like, what is she doing? Come to YouTube. That's where the party is. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you. That was very, very, very sweet of you. Van Goss, if there is a question that you have or a character or you want to go through your demographics and psychographics, let's do it. Toss it out there for the good of the group, okay? And let's go through it together. And if you're on Instagram and you heard none of that music and you just saw me moving around awkwardly in silence, one, I'm not sorry, but two, come join us on YouTube and you'll understand. You'll get it more, okay? So let's talk about this a little bit. Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. Let's boogie. What kind of channel do you have? Who's your ideal viewer? Who's your ideal customer? Okay? Van Goss? Yeah. And you did? You just headed to YouTube? Yes. Come join us on YouTube. It's a fun time. Okay. So I'm going to wait a second for you to go ahead and put in your answer there, right? And I'm going to just fill this out real quick. We're going to say ideal viewer and ideal customer. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. You sometimes will hear this referred to as ICA, ideal client avatar, anything like that. If it's an avatar, if it's a, ideal viewer, all of that good stuff. Okay. So come on, feed me some questions or feed me the, what we're going to talk about. Let's go. Bring it on. So I think this is really important stuff. And this is one of the biggest things that people get wrong right away. And it's okay when you're first starting out, you haven't quite figured this stuff out because it can take a really long time. really long time. And especially as things go on, it can change. It can change. So you may think, I was helping someone the other day and they said that they were, lo and behold, a real estate agent, right? So they were a real estate agent and they specialized in estate planning. That was really what really lit them up inside. They really enjoyed the process of helping people with estate planning as part of their thing, right? So when it came to that, then I was like, then these are very specific questions when it comes to estate planning, right? You've got some audiences, you've got the people who are doing the preparation in ahead of time, right? And then you have a different set of audience members, which is the kids of the people probably who are passing on, who are usually left behind to deal with a lot of this stuff. So once you start thinking about this, are you talking to the parents? Are you talking to the adult children most of the time, right? Then it becomes easier to be able to decipher what kind of videos then. It wasn't just about like how to close on a house and stuff like that. It was, how to prep a house for an estate sale, how to know what to do with the belongings at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point in time. How to have those conversations with your adult children about estate planning, how to whatever else it is, right? Those are very much different than how to list a home for sale, how to, they're just very different videos. And so if you know that who lights you up most inside to work with is adult children of people doing estate planning, then what are their questions, right? How do I prep this stuff? What do I do with all this stuff? How do I get it ready? Should I stage this home? Should I move out all of these antiques? What do I do afterwards? How do I sell it and then split the money? All of this stuff is then going to be different questions than just other questions, right? You're trying to figure out your niche. You're a fitness specialist. Oh my gosh. I'm not making fun of you. It's just as soon as I saw fitness specialist. And that's always one of the funny ones. Anytime I'm in a live stream and I ask someone what's your niche? And they say fitness. And I'm like, fitness is not a niche. I mean, it is, but technically, you always got to go a couple levels deeper, right? Because it's the person, I haven't even read the rest of your comment yet. This is just a funny thing. And I'm going to talk about this real quick. So fitness. I'm going to read the rest of your comment, I swear. Is not a niche. And the reason I say this is let's all talk about, I lost it. I had lost it. There it is. Let's all talk about the different types of fitness that's out there. I lost my screen. Wait, come back. There it is. So, I'm not making fun of you in any way. Trust me. We had the ballerina. We had the gymnast. We had the NFL person. We had, what are the rest? Triathletes, right? You've got track and field. You've got tennis. Anyone watch the King Richard? That one was really good. I just watched that over the last couple days. So we got tennis, we got all this stuff. And so it's funny, even I had talked about this once before when it was gymnastics, gymnastics for someone who's training people to be in the Olympics versus someone who's training NCAA athletes in college versus someone who's teaching at the little gym or recreational. Cheerleading is always one of those two, right? It becomes is it collegiate cheer? Is it all-star cheer? Is it little pee-wee cheer? And football is kind of the same way, right? So it's interesting to me when someone is like, oh, I'm in fitness. Great, let's go down a level. I'm a gymnastics coach. And I'm like, let's go down a level. Because, Nastia Lukin is not going to the gymnast or the coach at the little gym to understand how to go to the next Olympics back when she was doing it, right? She's going to, at the time, it was Bella Crowley or Marta Crowley to learn from the right people. And so it's interesting. So I'm going to read the rest of your comment. Sorry. Fitness specialize in yoga and special populations. What is special population? Oh, such as Parkinson's, what my husband has. Oh, okay. Awesome. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So side note, which if you ever come into any of my live streams, then you're going to see lots of side tangents. I just have to talk about this really quickly. I have to give myself a little reminder. Parkinson's pill bottle. Have you seen the Parkinson pill bottle stuff that has happened on TikTok? Parkinson pill bottle. Okay, we're coming to talk about this. So what's so interesting, I think it was Johnny Choi, maybe is his name, world record holder in some sort of fitness thing, has MS, and was making a video at once. He's phenomenal, just a phenomenal like specimen of just awesomeness, right? And he had made this TikTok one day because he has to time when he takes his medication so that it's peak performance for him. So that if he's going to try and do a world record attempt, it's in this ideal dip of when the medication, which he's been able to time and out on a graph, you know, it's like there's a dip and then there's a rise and then, you know, and then, so he's been able to time all this out. And so he's like, well, one day I couldn't take it until like an hour later because I needed it to be within this certain window of time. But he was saying that he had taken a video of himself while he was trying to take these pills, and his hand was shaking, and he was like, why do the people who make these pills manufacture them to be the tiniest pills ever? And then, you know, for someone who has muscular difficulties, it's so hard to get the pill out of the bottle and to actually take it. And what's fascinating and lovely about the entire TikTok community is some guy, just some random viewer, catches this video. And then he was like, wow, there's got to be a way that we can make this better for him. And he's like, well, I don't know a lot about whatever, let's just say it's AutoCAD or whatever type of programming that you do in 3D modeling. He's like, what if we designed a pill bottle that made it easier for this? So he ended up creating this kind of like 3D prototype. And he's like, well, I have this, but I don't have a 3D printer and I don't know how to do that. So if someone who does have a 3D printer wants this design, this pattern, could you print it out and could we try it? And so someone in the 3D printing community was like, yeah, let's do this. So he printed it out and said, first of all, like to teach yourself whatever this software program is to be able to do this is phenomenal enough. Kudos to you. It's very special. But then he was like, there's a few things, of course, that you probably would need to look at, like shaping and shaving down the sides or whatever. And between him and several other people who all then decided to pitch in on this type of thing, who did know how to do 3D modeling and do all of these things, they were able to design basically a prototype and a mold of what they're calling the Parkinson pill bottle, so that people who have this are able to separate out the pill and like toss it back like a little shot where it goes into your throat and then you swallow. And he's been able to find people who are also helping him do things like create the trademarks and the patents and the different things, because he really wants to be able to make the pill bottle, one, accessible to anyone who has a 3D printer. So they have like free 3D printing plans people can just like download, I think. Then they want to manufacture it with people so that pill manufacturers will actually do this. And it's really funny. If you go listen to one of his latest updates, it was like, please partner with us, but just know you're not going to make any money because we're also going to make it cheap and affordable for anyone who happens to be at a nonprofit. And then we're still going to make it free or whatever for these other people who want to print it on their own. So it's really amazing what has happened and transpired because of a TikTok community. But if you think about this for just a second, right? Sharing about something in the demographic, in the psychographics of what is happening here, right? We've got man with a disease, a muscular disease, you know, reaching out for help or actually just sharing about what's frustrating him, and then being able to find someone. You cannot get any more specific than, I have this muscular disease and I can't take this pill. And this is the pill that is going to be able to sustain my body so that I can do like life / this attempt at fitness records, and being able to find the right person for that, right? This is the power of being able to be very specific about who is watching, who is consuming, and who you're able to reach. So I just think it's a neat story that I wanted to share with y'all about that. Okay. So, yeah, you started laughing. Yeah. And it's no shade to you. It's like every single time I've ever had like a live stream and then I ask like, hey, what's your niche? Someone's always like fitness. And I'm like, oh, you sweet summer child. We have work to do. We have work to do. Okay. So Annie, like you said, it's first time home buyers. Okay. So let's do this really quickly. We're going to erase all the stuff about Parkinson's and erase the stuff about fitness. We're going to talk demographics and psychographics of first time home buyers. Thank you, Annie. So what do we know about first time home buyers? Do we have any kind of information about how old they typically are? Are they single? Are they married? Are they looking in suburban areas? Are they looking for, like, what's important to the first time home buyer, right? Does the first time home buyer also realize and have this in their head where they're not looking for their forever home? Or is it that the majority of the people who are first time home buyers are looking for their forever home, right? What else do we know about first time home buyers? Most of the time, I'm speaking from my own experience, okay? Don't come for me, anyone else who's a real estate agent. Most of the time in my experience, I have found that first time home buyers, they need a lot of reassurance, they need a lot of hand holding, and they need a lot of explanation and education. Don't come for me, okay? And it makes sense because it's their first time going through the process. So when I think about first time home buyers as well, I also think about people have unrealistic expectations about how much a home costs, how much a home costs to maintain, how much they should be borrowing, how much, right? All of these things that are kind of education. And then it's also like, they also don't think about the fact that they shouldn't go out and buy a car right before they're about to close. They shouldn't go out and spend all of their money on the home furnishings at a furniture store and max out their credit cards before they close their house, okay? Right? So every time I've ever worked with a first-time home buyer, it's education, it's hand-holding, it's what does it mean to be an escrow? Why do I have to give my money now? How long until we have the inspection response? What do we do if they say no? What do we do if they won't fix this thing? How do we proceed forward, right? And there's a lot of like talking them back off the ledge and then saying like, this is what happens next, and this is what happens because of what happened next. So raise your hand if that makes sense to you. That's what was always the thing for me. Annie, you can tell me if that's different for you, okay? But that was always for me. So for me, a lot of the first-time home buyers, some of them that I worked with, majority married, but or coupled. Okay. I didn't always work with a ton of people that were buying their first home as a single, as just themselves. Huh. Actually, yeah. I think almost all of my couples were couples. I mean, all of my homes were couples. There was a couple of single. There was a couple. Okay. Sorry, I digress. Okay. So what do we think about that? Yeah. You were there once when it came to that. Lots of patience, lots of education, lots of hand holding, right? So what do we think about the psychographics and demographics of a first-time home buyer? So for you, Annie, when you work with first-time home buyers, what's some of the commonalities? Of course, there's always exceptions to every rule, but what do we got? What do we know about them? Oh, and another one that always came up was they wanted the amenities, some of them, especially the single ones that I worked with, they wanted the amenities, but then they never factored in the cost of like HOAs and like fees, like monthly assessments and fees and stuff like that as part of their budgeting. They just thought, oh, I can afford this monthly mortgage payment, and not thinking about like the monthly like fees or utilities or whatever else, right? I know. You know what I meant. I was going to say, for the majority of the people that I helped, it was usually people that were doubled up, not people who were just buying it for themselves. I was maybe the exception to that rule because I bought my first place by myself at, oh goodness, how old was I? I was 25 when I bought my very first place, and I fell into that into the beginning where I wanted a condo, I wanted amenities, I wanted not a lot of maintenance, and so I didn't want a yard, I didn't want those things, and then had to reconcile what it meant to be able to afford my down payment, my monthly payment, as well as my association fees every month. All different things, right? Okay, so we can say millennials. Oops, I'm still on eraser. Is there two? Maybe just one. Millennials. So the psychographics of, let's say you were 27 when you bought your first house. Okay. So I'm going to say they are nervous. Ooh, goodness. That looks like a C. Oh no, it's a highlighter. No. All of it. I'm going to say stuff like they watch a lot of decorating shows and Love It or List It or House Hunters or, right? And they have this skewed reality of, what is that? Yeah, double little wispy there. They have skewed reality of cost. This isn't my opinion. This is my opinion, okay? They also they value the people that I worked with. I'm just talking about the people that I worked. Conveniences. And then a lot of the time they focused on not vanity metrics, but the shiny stuff. What do I mean? Some. Okay. You got the home flippers out there who were looking for the ugliest house on the block that had great bones, so they go in and flip it, right? House flipper, very different than first-time home buyer, because a lot of the first-time home buyers are thinking, can I live in it now? Which they should, because they don't have any place to live while they remodel it. But they have this unrealistic expectation of either how good their home remodeling skills are or how little it costs to remodel, right? Or they do have these unrealistic goals of like what's going to happen. Like they're going to buy this like cruddy looking house, they're going to flip it, and then they're going to spend that money on their next home, which is going to be their forever home. I saw that a lot, right? So a lot of them, but then they would come in and then be surprised when they couldn't get loans on stuff because like FHA has weird rules or VA has very weird rules about, you know, inhabitability and such when it comes to some of those things. So let me know if that's been your experience. Again, this is still going over like again, when I was an agent, that was a long time ago as well. So I'm going to say unrealistic expectations. Okay. They've watched a lot of Love It or List It's. They've watched a lot of House Hunters. They've watched some, extreme home makeovers. They think they're going to be able to do all this stuff. They don't know about costs, right? So being able to explain all of these things to them, these aren't even making sense okay, you know where I'm going with this, right? They tend not to see the whole picture. They tend to have a very specific pie view of what's going on. So if you are, let's say Annie, as a new home buying specialist, real estate agent, what are the types of videos, what are the types of questions, and what are the types of things that you would need to explain to make it so that any first-time home buyer going through this process is going to be like, oh my gosh, she is answering everything that is literally inside of my head and brain dumping out into this video, right? So then all of a sudden, what kind of videos do we start making? We have like how to know if I can afford this home, right? If you're a first-time home buyer, you don't know how to factor in all of those different things and making that money decision. If you've bought 2, 3, 4 homes, you know how much is it going to be for closing costs, how much is it going to be that the buyer's going to pick up, how much is it going to be that the seller's going to pick up, you know, and realistic timeline expectations. You can't have someone who, unless they have cash in the bank to go get a cashier's check or something like that, be like, we're going to close on this home in like 2 weeks, right? Because most of the time, a first-time home buyer doesn't realize that like you're lucky if you can get 30 days. And that's if the loan and underwriting are probably within the same company or same bank, and it doesn't have to be sent out to some outside place in some outside state with additional time back and forth, right? Or or so on and so forth, right? So, or one, being even able to calculate days. How many of you had this where, again, maybe this is in the weeds. How many first-time home buyers don't know how to calculate days correctly? So they have this, oh, it got cut off on screen. They don't know how to calculate days. And what I mean by that is that a lot of the time it's counting business days and not holidays and not weekends and something like that. So you could say something is going to be like 10 days and it might mean, is it calendar days or is it business days or, you know, something like that. And then what happens if one of those days happens to fall on a holiday? One thing that also, just as a side note out there, again, I don't know why, but if you're on Instagram, sometimes I get a lot of real estate agents that follow me. I always closed on a Wednesday, or tried to aim to close on a Wednesday, because the people who tried to close on a Friday, when does that ever correctly work? There's always something, last minute underwriting change or something like that. So I would always try and close on a Wednesday, so there were 2 more business days if something went completely off the rails that you could still try and close. So I would always shoot for a Wednesday, and then, you know, also that's just a personal aside. So here we go. They don't know how to calculate days, right? They don't know, this is where you say, like, you don't know how to calculate how much home you can afford, because a bank is going to say you can afford $250,000, right? And they're not taking into account the homeowners associations and some of the other stuff. Or do you want to be so house poor that you're only eating top ramen, just like Buzz in the very beginning, and only eating top ramen, can't afford to ever go on vacation or ever afford to? And just because you have a budget of so much doesn't mean you should actually spend so much, right? Never close on a Friday. Thank you, Sheila, right? Never close on a Friday. No, never, 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 never. Hey, Sheila, if you want to join us, we are chatting on YouTube, so you can see my chicken scratch handwriting as well. You're missing that. So, yeah, that's just an insider. I never, ever, ever try and close on a Friday. Wednesday. It's a good day. Okay. Right? How to, you know, pick out a lender, how to know what kind of loan, right? Just because someone was in the military, is VA the right loan for them? Sometimes it's FHA, sometimes it's something else. Sometimes it's, you know, why would you want to do a 5-year ARM? Maybe you want to because you know you're not going to stay in that house more than 3 years, because you know you're going to move, you know, something like that. If you can explain that to someone, be like, yeah, I don't mind having a 5-year ARM on something because I am going to either refinance or I'm going to move because this is my first time home and then I'm going to move into my forever home. Right? And I want to be able to do it with a lower monthly payment right now because I know that I'm not staying here. Right? Absolutely. Again, home inspections on new construction. Yes, you have to. Yes, 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 yes. All the things. All the things. But right? So there's a video right there, though. New home buyers probably think, hey, a builder just built this house. I don't need a home inspection, right? That's what they're thinking right there is, why would I spend, let's say, $500 for a home inspection to come through when it's a brand new build? And you're like, oh, can we talk about when they didn't hook up the toilets correctly? Or when they, you know, all these different things like that. Or a new home buyer who's never been through it is like, should I buy a home warranty? Is it a scam? Is it not? What things should be covered? What does that mean when I have to, you know, make a call? And what's the deductible look like? And what is that process? Again, it's a lot of hand-holding, education, all that kind of stuff when it comes to new home buyers. And, you know, if they've never done it, you have to be able to preemptively think about it, either through the people that you've already helped who've gone through that situation, or being able to know them well enough that this is the question that's going to come up, and having them not be freaked out because you already have like told them about it. So hopefully that explains. Someone else have one that they want to throw out to the group? Okay, we kind of have covered a little bit about real estate agents. I've peppered in too much of my own personal experience. I've had so many lives, y'all. I have so many lives. Real estate agents, man. Oof. Wow, you didn't sign up for that. I know. I just can't help myself, though, y'all. I can't help myself. Psychographics and demographics. I can't not have, though, a little swoopty under those, okay? So there you go. Once you have thought of that, though, right, Annie, you're going to say, like, do you need a home inspection on a new construction? There's a video right there, right? If there's a leak in the master bedroom and they're unaware until they decide to sell 6 months before the builder warranty expires, then, oh, no, yeah. Exactly. Sheila Collins, what's the question mark for? What's the question mark for? I'm not sure. Technically T, Lurk Squad. Great to see you. I'm going to put that down at the bottom. Lurk Squad. And then I need a hand. Hand. This is a hand saying hi. 4. There should be 5. 5. Oh no, why is the bottom of my hand? There. It's waving back and forth at you. Oh, you can't even see it. Dang it. How come I can't see it? Oh, I think my scene is locked. I want you to be able to see my waving hand. Wait, there it is. Lark Squad. Wave. There you go. There you go. Let me move that back over. Let me move that back over. Here we go. See above how to find top real estate trends to talk about. Oh, did I miss something? Did I see you ask that? I see, can someone be financially stable on YouTube? You're right about closing, never close. See above. I don't see it, but let's talk. I guess we can have one more. Top real estate trends. Oh, we're going back to real estate, are we? Oh, my little thing is still on the screen. Okay, this is going to be for lots of y'all. Not just, but top real estate trends. Oh, it was sources. Okay, let's talk sources. Do you guys know where I was going with that? It's horses. That's Sleepless in Seattle. Y'all didn't ask for that. All right. So where you can go to find content ideas, right? We're going to say one is going to be Answer the Public. How many of y'all have been to Answer the Public? Answer the Public. We've got Google Trends. We've got TubeBuddy and YouTube itself. Once you were to type in a specific type of thing, you could actually just see like what else is trending in that thing. If you create an account with Google Ads, is it called Google Ads? I think that's what it is. Then you'll also be able to see trending, and then you can put in things, and then it will also tell you like search volume on those types of things. So you could do that. You could also be doing it inside of TubeBuddy, which you can actually then siphon down into geographic if that was something that you wanted to try and do. Answer the Public is going to be a site where you can go to. It's if you already have kind of a topic-ish in mind, you could say something like how to buy a home, something like that, right? So you could type in like how to buy a home, and then Answer the Public is going to give you a big wheel of all of these different types of other ways to phrase and ask that question. So usually it's going to be stuff like this is what I always come back to. Who, what, where, why, how, and then I always like to add how many and how come. So these are the types of ways that you would ask that. Then you've also got sources like Reddit. Then you've also got online forums. And then you've also got, I'm just going to turn this into a B, Facebook. And Facebook. So you got lots of different ways there. So Facebook, Google Trends, TubeBuddy, Reddit, Quora, Answer the Public, Help a Reporter, I think also could help you with how to phrase some of those things like that, right? Should we jumping on trend bandwagon and doing videos on it even though it's temporary? It depends. That's always my answer, right? It depends. I'm going to come over here and hope you screenshotted that before you needed it, because now it's gone. Let's see here. Oh no, I erased my Lurk Squad. Dang it, T, forgive me. Forgive me. Okay, we're going to do that, and then let's slide this up here. I should have just been doing this and having a whole list of notes for the whole. I'm a dumb head. Okay. Man, then I would have had a whole thing for the whole thing. All right. Then I would have had a whole thing for the whole thing. I hate myself sometimes. Okay. So trending. So I think what you're asking here is going to be trending versus evergreen. So we've got pros and cons of both. So with evergreen, you've got longevity. And with trending, you've got popularity. So first of all, we have to answer the question, what's more important to you? So if what happens, I need a better eraser. So if you're coming from popularity, you might be facing competition, right? You might be facing saturation. You might be facing changing information. And then you're going to become probably, oh, that wasn't right, irrelevant, right? And you're facing irrelevancy. Wow, that handwriting looks atrocious on screen. Wow, I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that. I'm just going to slide this over as well because I don't think you can see it. I'm going to share it with y'all. Okay, so you've got all of this stuff. With longevity, right? Some of the stuff that you're facing over here, some stuff is, it might not be popular. That's one of the biggest things, right? And well, it could still be saturated. A lot of the other stuff still applies. It could still have changing info, and it could then become irrelevant. So which one's more important to you, Annie? And is there a way to have something that is popular and so trending and evergreen at the same time? So when it comes to real estate or buying a home, right? Buying a home is always going to be evergreen. What could change, though, is something like you talk about the Ace family and how technically what they did is get a new construction home, right? So if you didn't know, I don't like them, but they took 2 plots of land or 2 homes and they knocked them down and they built one big mega mansion house, and they worked with some builder and they built one big super mansion. And then if you didn't see, they had some stuff go down where they stopped paying the builder. They said that the builder did shoddy work, which is a whole other thing in itself, right? Because there's lots of downsides and weird things when it comes to new construction. But you had that happen, and then they defaulted on their loan, and then they were evicted and lied about being evicted, but then it was sold back to the city after it was foreclosed on and taken back from the bank, right? And one of the reasons was they could never get a certificate of occupancy because a lot of this stuff didn't pass any of these inspections. And so because of that, they couldn't secure a loan. And because they couldn't secure a loan, the old loan they had, they just stopped paying on it, all right? So that's kind of the long and short of that. But when you think about this, they are a trending topic because they're also very popular, but the principles behind what happened to them are evergreen, right? Do you know that you need a certificate of occupancy sometimes in new construction, right? What happens if you don't get a new construction certificate of occupancy versus in some of the cases where you do a remodel of an existing home doesn't always require a certificate of occupancy because it's actually just a remodel. It depends on the situation, the states, the cities, and everything, right? But some will not issue a final certificate of occupancy if it's a remodel versus if it's a new construction build. So that itself is a lesson, right? So if you're doing new construction, what happens if you don't get a certificate of occupancy? That's a video right there. It's both trending and evergreen. That's how you marry and combine the two. Does that make sense? Then it becomes something like, what happens in the event that you stop paying your mortgage? What does that look like if you happen to be on the other side? If you were a broker of mortgages or something, right? Then this is a telltale case of this is what happens, and then this is why their house got foreclosed on and taken back, and this is the process that happens. So still a way to marry what is popular with evergreen content because it's factual. So that is maybe one way that I would go about it, but it's not necessarily how everyone would do it. That's how I would try and marry the two, because if you're going after just trending, even though it's kind of talking about real estate, if you're not bringing in that life lesson of the evergreen content of what happens to real estate agents or mortgages or whatever, and why it's important, then it's kind of also just becoming a gossip tea drama channel. But if you can impart the wisdom of why it happened, then that's different. So think about it this way. So Emily over, on her channel and the Law Nerds, she's taking the factual information and using her experience as a lawyer to be able to talk about what does this court filing and proceeding mean, and what as a lawyer might be not going on behind the scenes, but, explaining it in a way that makes sense for other people. But she's doing it on trending topics and things that she finds entertaining, whether that's Britney Spears and the end of the conservatorship, whether that's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and their ongoing legal struggles or whatever that is. And so she's able to marry the two on a trending topic and on something that is evergreen. And as things change in the course of time and different things happen, she's able to impart more and more. So she's getting more content because more things are happening. So she's done a very smart way of being able to do that, because she's also taken something that is very fascinating to a lot of people, which is the law proceedings of very famous and rich people, but being able to explain it from a point of view that is experienced and knowledgeable rather than just as a person gossiping about it online. So side tangent, Annie is glad that you switched to desktop because now you can finally read what is written on the board. Yeah, there you go. So there's that. So although my handwriting really looks embarrassing like chicken scratch over here, so let's just erase that real quick. Excuse. So I think Emily, if you don't know who I'm talking about, this is Emily D. Baker. So this is a great example right here, right? So she was able to take I was supposed to just keep scrolling. So she's taking these trending topics, right? Such as Britney or Real Housewives of, of somewhere, and mix in the legal aspect and jargon and explanation, right? So that's why this works beautifully, is because she's able to take all of this information with her experience, and that's one way that you can trend and do evergreen at the same time. Does that make sense, Annie? Hopefully that answers that question. When it comes to which one would I focus on, I traditionally have focused on evergreen content because that's just always been a strategy I've had. But one thing about trending, so if you think about this, like Philip DeFranco, he does pretty much all trending type of things, right? So let's talk about this here. So Philly. So news, which by itself is trending. So every day, or Monday through Thursday, he's able to put out a news clip it and show, right? But how many of you can say that you're going back to watch one of Philly D's news cycles from 2 years ago? So, I mean, I'm not raising my hand on this one. So if you're not able to sustain any kind of this long-term growth, then you have to get all your views at the beginning and then tapers off into like nothing, right? So this is probably like the news cycle in views. Oh my gosh, my artwork is atrocious, okay? Would we agree that this is kind of views on something like a trending news topic, right? So most of the time with trending, something like this is going to go from the top. You're going to get the majority of them in the first 24 hours, and then you're going to peter out into a trickle / nothing. right? This is going to be like nothing over here. So he has to get the majority of his money here, which also means that you have to, one of the downfalls is you have to continually put out content to make money or to stay relevant or whatever else it is, right? Whereas if you have an evergreen video, and we're going to do an iMovie tutorial. Okay. Most of the time iMovie tutorials, I mean, unless they're changing something drastically inside of iMovie, your graph is going to look something, it could look even something where you get a good amount of views in the very beginning and then tapers off, and then all of a sudden it catches up in trending, or not trending, it just gets picked up in search or something. Someone reposts it, logs it, whatever. It could be something like this, and it could end up going like this. I've actually had videos like this. So this could very well be a video that's evergreen. And that means 2 years from now, and in fact, one of the most popular, wow, my art skills are chef's kiss. All right. Can I get a round of applause for my art skills, please? For my art skills. So horrific. I'm so sorry you're subjected to this. Okay. So with something like this, oh my gosh, which could actually coincide nicely with something like this where you're not monetized and then you get monetized and then you actually end up making more money. This is actually something that has happened. Wow. This is so good. This is so good, y'all. Right? But this could also follow a very, this could be a very realistic pattern. You make some videos, they don't get a lot of views, whatever else it is, and then you get enough views to get monetized, and then eventually it gets picked up or something, and then boom, some money. Not a lot of money, some money. And this means that you're not necessarily not dependent on a trend, and it makes money as long as people are looking for it. Right? Could we say? This is the ugliest set of graphs I've ever seen in my entire life. Wow. I am really Van Gogh over here. So I'm just laughing at my own stupid artwork. So the beauty of the second video is that while it might not make a lot of money in the beginning, you also don't have to, because almost like the very first one, you're not going to make any money 2 years in. Whereas even the videos that I privated, even ones that were 3-4 years old, were still making me money. They were still making me money today, whether that was through an affiliate link, through my Louboutin repair shoe, where even though people were watching them and people were buying through the affiliate link, I was making money. And that video was 5 years old, right? Versus the iMovie tutorial, in which it didn't pop off until 4 months after it was published. And then it became one of my #1 money-making type of videos. And it was making, I don't know, a lot, right? And then this is so stupid. So that's kind of the difference. So if you're going for things such as views and maybe that quick hit of something, then you may want to be more so only in the kind of trending. I think it's nice to have the marriage of trending and evergreen. And if you're not caring about that at all, you're not beholden to anything except for if that software program goes away or if something happens and you need to make a new updated video, then so be it. But that's kind of the trajectory of that. Hopefully that makes sense. So hopefully that answers that question. It's a personal choice that you got to make for yourself, man. That's all I got to say on that. I'm going to refresh, but it does say that there's 10 people watching, and I still only have 4 thumbs up on this video, which is, oh wait, it says 14. Dang. Okay. I won't berate you all anymore. Never mind. Well, while we're here, other questions that you have about this kind of topic, demographics, psychographics, niches. Oh man, y'all, I can't even have my art on the screen anymore. I just can't. I just can't. Let me know, because I got a little bit of time. So let me know. Let me know. Shall we boogie for a minute? Let's boogie for 1 minute while you guys put your questions in the chat. Hopefully this is making sense. I need to pick a song. Ask your questions if you got them. Don't hold your breath. So you guys didn't answer any, or you didn't ask any questions. Stop it, Brother Bruce. That's so nice. Hold on. Let me push the button. I'm gonna find the right button. Where's my stream deck? It stopped lighting up. Oh wait, where is it? And wait. Where's the one with the money? Here we go. Bruce, thank you so much for your super chat. Is there a question I can answer for you today? Let me know. Don't be a lurker, but I appreciate your super chat. I really do. Thank you so much. So, Picky Chick, we're talking about YouTube, niches, psychographics, demographics, the mistakes that people make, not by clearly identifying their ideal client or viewer when they're first making videos and knowing who they're making videos for. Right? I won't be saying fitness specialist anymore. That's right, you won't, right? Because let me scroll back. Where was yours? I don't like saying that strategy because it's only temporary. I missed that. Okay, wait, where is it? Oh, where is it? Okay, wait. Fitness specialist specializing in yoga. Oh, yeah, such as Parkinson's. See, so let's come up with your I help statement. This is a very important thing. This comes up a lot on Instagram. And this is also known as your 15-second elevator pitch, right? So we've talked about this before. Unless you're on Grey's Anatomy, which elevator rides take 4 minutes or longer, you in an elevator have somewhere between 10 and 15 seconds hopefully between floors and where you're going. So sometimes you'll see a lot of people talk about the I help statement. And so when it comes to your Instagram profile, this comes up a lot. And so a lot of people in social media kind of talk about this a little bit. And so let's talk about this for Van Goghs. And it was fitness specialist although we're not going to say that anymore. And yoga is something that we're talking about here. And special populations. Such as Parkinson's. So special populations, and then you have to add such as Parkinson's, is actually more confusing than like clarifying. So we're going to get to that, such as Parkinson's. So let's help Van Goss with her I help statement. So, all right. So let's talk about this, right? So Annie is a, what is she? Residential home specialist, no, residential real estate agent specializing in first-time home buyers in Orlando. Right? If that's pretty accurate, let me know, right? Annie is, I don't know, see if I can remember that. So Annie is a residential, not commercial, residential real estate agent. I don't know if you're a realtor or a real estate agent. I'm just going to say real estate agent. Specializing in, you can even say first time home buyers for new, oh lordy, that was ugly, construction. Okay. So if Annie meets anybody in an elevator, she can say, "Hi, I'm Annie. I'm a residential real estate agent specializing in first-time home buyers in real estate in new construction in Orlando." Oops. In Orlando. Something like that. It was like Annie sells Orlando, something like that, right? So it's very clear who she helps and where she helps them and what she's helping them buy, right? So a really good I help statement is going to be able to answer who, maybe where, right? Because it could be online. It's not required, but maybe. Oh, it's so ugly, right? It's just a habit. Okay. Who, where, why? Why would anyone want to work with you? Why is it that you are the one for them? You're the one that I want. You are the one I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So Van Goss, right, is going to say, specializing in populations such as Parkinson's. Is it females? Is it males? Do you not care? So we're gonna ask this real quick. So is there a particular piece of the population, right, that you are normally helping? Because it's okay to lean into that. It's fine. So you could say something, and I think it's fine if you want to say specifically what it is, because special populations is actually an interesting thing because it actually muddies the water before you then clarify the water, right? So sometimes when it comes to niches and who you help, the clearer you are, the better, because some people will self-select their way out of this, right? So if you're a fitness specialist who focuses on people with muscular diseases, right, and helping them do yoga so they can live their life, whatever, in not pain-free, but you know what I mean, whatever, then well, let's work that out a little bit, because I think it's fine to say that, because then the person who is not having a muscular, maybe special population part of it, and isn't looking for that, right? If I'm the NFL Combine specialist person, I'm not going to look for a fitness specialist of yoga for Parkinson, right? So let's be specific about this, because then if I'm that person, I'm a 22-year-old, I'm about to graduate from college, I want to declare for the NFL draft, I know not to come to Van Goss, right? I go to, or if I'm the person who's trying to become Miss America, I'm going to go to Michael Caine and Miss Congeniality, right? I want that person. So what is it that we can say about you? So let's help build this. What are we saying? So I think it's fine then if you don't want to specify a gender, totally cool with that. But is it, what would we call that? Is it muscular degenerative diseases? Help me out here. This is your field. Help me out. What do you got? What do you got? And can I ask, do you have any kind of like special training in this? You have certifications, you've got, right, certain amounts of experience or a certain amount of people that you've helped. All of a sudden now you're then coming into an area where it's something like, I'm a certified nutritionist who helps, you know, first-time mommies get their body back after baby in a healthy way. Very specific to a group of people, right? We're looking for first-time mommies maybe who are trying to get their body back after having a baby, right? You don't have to be so specific though, where it says like, and you gave birth via C-section at a hospital on a Tuesday. That's too far. It is possible to go too far. You've gone too far. You've gone too far. But I think it's fine to say, I am a certified personal trainer who helps women get their, you know, confidence back after having their first child. I think that's fine, right? Or maybe you do say I'm C-section, you know, because sometimes they have a lot of other exercises and stuff that they can't do for the first, you know, how to break into first time exercise. But you also want to be careful. Is your self-selected pool that you're getting down to with your demographics and psychographics so small that you won't have those people to be with, and or if you do, it's on a very limited time scale. So if it is like for the first 12 weeks after a baby, like maybe that's too far, right? But let's talk about this though. For you have 7 years experience and you're certified. Okay, what's the certification in? So we're gonna say something like Van. So if you were writing your own bio to submit to someone as a talk, you were gonna go give a talk at a gym someplace or, you know, someplace, what would we say? It is a progressive nervous system disorder. Okay. So we're gonna say Van is a certified fitness professional. Oh, that's so ugly. We can fix it. That was the erasing sign. It's necessary. Professional. And you specialize in what? Specializing. Oh my gosh, I am the worst. I was like, I know how to spell it. And I'm like, people are watching. Don't F this up. And then what do? You saw what I did. Specializing. It's when I tried to do a combination of cursive and print that it just went off the rails. And then I'm like, it isn't working for me. Okay, it's not working for me. So Van is a certified fitness professional specializing in yoga. Exercise is for, let's go with people with muscular degenerative diseases, or living with Parkinson's and multiple, right? Something like that. So here we go, right? If you were to go into your Instagram bio, and this is one way that I like to think about it, because Instagram bios are, let's say, tweets in the old day when they had to be 160 characters, 140 characters, something like that. You only had this much room to say something, which is about the time that it would take you, about 10 seconds in your elevator pitch, right? So if you think if it doesn't fit into an Instagram bio, back when it was like shorter, right? Or if it doesn't fit into a single tweet, then your who I help and who I am section is probably too big. So for example, I might say something like, hey, I'm Shelly and I specialize in, right? What do I specialize in? Helping people create videos to share what they love with the world and make money from it. There you go. It's, even though it's still pretty open and broad, it's specific enough at the same time. I can be like who I am, who I help, what I'm trying to do, right? So for you, did we cover some of the who, where, and why? So Van is a certified, so you could say ACE certified, right? So you could say Van is, it would be N, ACE certified fitness professional specializing in yoga exercises for people with muscular degenerative diseases. Does that kind of make sense? I mean, throw some of your own flavor into that, but this is kind of where we're going with this. So this is what you would say in your Instagram bio, or when someone asks you then what your niche or who you help is, right? Now we know who, where, and why. Who you are and why someone would follow you is I'm a certified in fitness or and whatever else it is. Who do you help? I help people who have Parkinson and, you know, who have muscular degenerative diseases, right? So now we've got the three parts of this, and it says, I am an ACE certified fitness professional helping people do yoga who happen to live with muscular degenerative diseases. That is something you could fit into an Instagram bio. That is something that immediately, if someone who has someone in their life who has a muscular degenerative disease or something like that, would think, this is the person who I would want to help my loved one or me. Does that make sense? Van, does that help? Does that help? And of course, this is all going to be refined over time and however you want to do that. But if I were you, I don't know what you have in your Instagram bio or what you have in your about section on your YouTube, but this is what I would start in that top section, right? Or this is what I would have in my description box in every single one of my videos, right? I'm Van, certified in this. And that's even something that you could work into your script. And if you guys need a video on the scripting, I have a whole live stream dedicated to how to script videos and how you kind of introduce yourself, something like that too. Like, hey everyone, today we're going to be working on these certain yoga poses. Just for a reminder, I am Van. I'm a certified fitness professional helping you and anyone in your life that happens to have Parkinson's do yoga. Here we go, right? Yeah, so yeah. Yay, okay, good. I'm glad to hear that that was helpful. Anyone else have anything? Annie is a residential real estate agent specializing in first-time home buyers and new construction in Orlando, right? Shelly is a YouTube certified, whatever it is. It used to be back when they had the YouTube certifications and everything. Technically, in case people do put that out there, YouTube certification program has changed. And so now, not only do they have expiration dates, now you can only enroll in the YouTube certification process if you have a channel manager that enrolls you. They've made it harder to actually be able to take it. So a lot of the people who had certifications before, they're all now expired. They won't tell you that. I mean, I'll tell you, to be honest, which is why I've also removed it from a lot of my bio stuff. But I was YouTube certified in channel growth and content management. That was me. What was it? YouTube certified in channel growth and content management. I don't know. It was two different certifications. And I went to go renew, and they had changed it like 2 weeks prior to me re-upping my enrollment. But it wouldn't have mattered because they only like do the certifications like a year at a time. So it would have run out entirely at one point anyway. Did you guys ask about that? No. Did I share it with you? Yes, because I'm an oversharer. So there's that. Other questions, concerns, anything like that? Anyone else's bio we should rewrite? I don't know. Anyone else's bio? You want to give it a shot? Who? Where? Why? How come? Let me know. We'll do one more boogie. Happy days. I like it. Oh, eating my hair. We'll say goodbye to Instagram. Bye, Instagram. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you were wondering, Audio Hero is where I go, and you can divide your music search into things like beats per minute, mood, genre, those types of things. And if you have a paid license of TubeBuddy, I think until they make any changes to member perks, it's included as member perk for free. You get a certain amount of songs every month for free. So all of the music that I play comes from Audio Hero in there. So there's that. Okay. So anybody else have anything for the good of the classroom? Have we learned something today? Can we get, I don't know, spam some sort of pink or red emoji if you learned something today. Also, I don't know if it is working. It was supposed to work. It was supposed to have some sort of integrated restream chat bot thing, and it doesn't look like it fired off anything. It's supposed to tell you things like subscribe to the channel, or you can do buy me a coffee here on this channel, or you can join our YouTube channel memberships where you get to have cool chats with me and emojis and stickers and stuff like that. And if you want to become a channel member, I'd love to see it, because we're also going to be doing some member only chats as well. So there's that. Would love to see it. But other than that, I'm going to let y'all go. And oh, hello, Mark Sequence. Yay. Y'all, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Also, I had a favor request. I put it in my community tab, but all of our Thursday live stream shows that have been going out on Spotify and Anchor and everything where you're hearing podcasts. If you're over on Apple Podcasts and you want to leave the show a 5-star review, that would be great. I would appreciate that. And I think I even put a link into the community tab for the Apple Podcast one. Go give it 5 stars, because there's only a couple reviews on there and it's been like 2 years. Okay. Yeah. Appreciate it. But I hope you guys have a great one. I will talk to you all in a video very soon, and I'll see you next Thursday for another episode of Triple T. All right. All right. Oh, wait, I can't. I'm hovering on the button. All right. Bye, y'all.